One of the most deadly lies in the history of mankind is that compliance to tyrants will yield and secure liberty. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. I want to give a shout out to the YouTube channel San Joaquin Valley Transparency, because he dropped this video where he linked this channel right here called Joan Quinn Eastman. Watch what this guy does. This is fast. This is what happens when you expand your knowledge. You remember that Schoolhouse Rock little segment where it said knowledge is power? Knowledge truly is power. If you're ignorant, people can manipulate you pretty easily. But if you're armed with knowledge, it's almost like you're Kevlar vested. It's very difficult for somebody to get into your mind and intimidate you when you're, number one, when you're standing on the moral bedrock. That's unassailable, number one. And number two, if you know their laws better than they know their laws, you can really reverse psychology this thing and start getting into their minds, into their heads, and manipulating the situation for your benefit. And it's not just for your benefit, it's the benefit of freedom for everybody, including the law enforcer who's trying to extort you. When you're fighting for freedom, the irony about freedom is when you're fighting for it, you're even fighting for the freedom of the people who are trying to take your freedom away. Just think about that. That's fantastic and freeing. And it makes you feel good deep down in your soul. Watch this guy. No license plate, no plate, no license, no problem is the title of the video. This should have millions upon millions of views. Because what this guy's about to say completely exposes and shatters decades of fallacy in how people think about licensing and requirements and registration and driving and traveling and corporate fictions. Check this out. His name's Rick Martin, constitutional lawyer.
This is my traffic book right here. And if you read down below, public note, public servant officer, it pretty much says to him,
in the event you elect to not fill this form, you will accept or give your unconditional consent for a levy of your public bonds of no more than $100,000 USD. Per 5 minutes, I am detained by you or all other present officers. Notice to agent, and guys, this thing has a seriously happy ending because this guy was actually able to extract hundreds of thousands of dollars for a violation by one of those public servants. So stay tuned. But I never even stopped to listen to read this little form that he's got here. Notice to agents is notice to principal. Notice to principal is notice to agent, public servants, officer refusal. Yes, no, circle one, please.
When a cop pulls me over, you're losing potato chips. But when a cop pulls me over, the first thing I do is I ask him, what's your emergency and how may I assist you? And he's going to ask for my driver's license and insurance or whatever. And I said, well, before we go there, I need you to fill this out. And I take that sheet of paper out of there and hand it to him. Before we can go any further, you need to fill this out. Once he reads this, it already puts him on notice that I'm not playing games with him. And then you open up the book, and that is so poignant. And here's the case I won against Harris County. Harris County, I always take my name out because I'm not going to give my name until you can give me what's called, and police always call it, it's RAS. What's your RAS? And they automatically assume I'm a cop because I'm using their lingo. And what RAS stands for, reasonable articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime. Okay, you don't have that? Okay, what's your SAF? Single articulable fact. Well, you don't have that either? Okay, you've just basically said that there's no reason to pull me over because you haven't seen a crime. Okay, here's the case I won against Harris County. You can see the stamps and date, and they ended up buying me a brand new Porsche 911 turbo all-wheel drive convertible with them pulling me over and letting me spend a night in jail. So, and here's the lawsuit, and I've got these for everybody to see, and you can see that it's...
Yeah, the sad part about that is, the sad reality of that is, the money that left the, police department or the city or whatever, came out of the pockets from the tax cattle in that area into his pocket. The way it should have gone down is these cops, these law enforcers shouldn't have qualified immunity as a prerequisite for their job. They should be personally, individually insured so that when something like this does happen and they deprive somebody's rights under, under color of law, like 18 USC 242 says, deprivation of rights under color of law, that money should come out of that insurance policy that this cop pays a premium on every single month. And then all the rest of the cops would take note and go, holy cow, I don't want my insurance premiums to go up. I better do the right thing. So now they're monetarily incentivized to do the right thing when they should have been morally incentivized to do the right thing. So I agree. The thing I don't like about this is the reality is that money didn't just come from the county or the state. It came from the American tax cattle in that area.
It's all put together. And there it is, signed by the DA and stamped, showing they lost the case.
And they lost it, and they paid
and
you
I
what?
sued them.
And what did you win?
$250,000 for a night in jail.
$250,000 because they chose to do the wrong thing. They chose to get their egos bruised. They chose to trample their own laws and edicts, and they chose to enforce tyranny against a guy who wasn't harming or threatening to harm anybody else. They were just following policies as they were playing their role as road pirates.
And then Supreme Court says no license necessary to drive an automobile on public highways. Now these are all documented. So what this is called stare decisis. Okay, we're running a case that's already been won in the Supreme Court, and they're in violation.
It's been won and won and won. And I know I keep interrupting, but this is very serious. So I want to show you in writing some of these Supreme Court cases, and we're going to get back to the video in a second. And I really hope that you go to this guy's channel and give him some support, because we can all learn from each other. None of us is greater than all of us. Look at this. This is Robertson versus Department of Public Works. It says complete freedom of the highways is so old and well established a blessing that we have forgotten the days of the robber barons and toll roads. And yet, this is a Supreme Court case decision. The highways may be completely monopolized if, through lack of interest, the people submit. Then they may look to see the most sacred of their liberties taken from them one by more or less rapid encroachment. Look at this right here. The right of citizens. I hate that because we're not denizens of a city. We're human beings. We are individuals. The right of a person to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property thereon by horse-drawn carriage, wagon, or automobile is not a mere privilege which may be permitted or prohibited at will, but a common right. How many times have you heard the Michael Moores, the CNNs, the ABCs of this world say that your ability to drive on the open highways is a privilege? Supreme Court case after Supreme Court case. This is Virginia Supreme Court, Thomas versus Smith, says it's a right. It's a common right, which he has under his right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And nobody can stand in the way of that right. If they do, they become the criminals. I don't care if they call themselves law enforcers and they have legitimized authority. They don't. And I'm not for this because the Supreme Court is for this. This just so happens to correspond with natural law and morality. Under this constitutional guarantee, one may therefore, under normal conditions, travel at his inclination along the public highways or in public places, and while conducting himself in an orderly and decent manner, neither interfering with nor disturbing another's rights, he will be protected not only in his person, but in his safe conduct. This right here says the right of citizens to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property thereon in the ordinary course of life and business is a common right. That's also Thompson versus Smith. This right here in California case regarding White, the right of a citizen individual to travel on a public street with freedom from police interference is a fundamental
constitutional right. If it's a right, you don't need a license for it. A license is a permission slip. You don't need permission from another man to travel upon the open public roadways. This is so freaking freeing. I couldn't even wait to share this with you. What I'll do when this video gets done rendering is I will give you the link to this man's channel and the link to this right here, because it's got in a nice tidy place all of the Supreme Court cases and the pertinent ruling for that. The right to operate a motor vehicle, they say operate, upon the public streets and highways is not a mere privilege, says Adams versus City of Pocatello. It is a right of liberty, the enjoyment of which is protected by the guarantees of the federal and state constitutions. Look at this one right here. This is Chicago Coach Company versus the City of Chicago. No state government entity has the power to allow or deny passage on the highways, byways, nor waterways, transporting as vehicles and personal property for either recreation or business, but by being subject only to local regulation, i.e. safety, caution, traffic lights, speed limits, etc. Travel is not a privilege requiring licensing, vehicle registration, or forced insurances. I'm going to read that again. Travel is not, this is a Supreme Court decision. Chicago Coach Company versus Chicago City of Chicago. It is clear. This is as clear as you can possibly get it. Travel is not a privilege requiring licensing, vehicle registration, or forced insurance. Back to this guy's video.
Of their oath of office when they don't pay attention. My license plate doesn't give you, if you look at my license plate, the license plate alone says I'm not in.
That's his license plate, guys. Don't freaking tread on me. This says I do not comply. I'm not participating in your little shenanigans, your little games. Go ahead and pull me over or whatever. What if we all did this? What if 100 people in your city did this right here? Then other people are like, hey, well, what's the deal with that? You don't have a license? Yeah, I'm not paying rent. What do you what? I'm a free man. Let's get this just spreading like wildfire. This right here, it's not the majority who will prevail, but the irate and tireless minority who are keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. Here's a brush fire of freedom. At least it's a spark.
Now, if I have a license plate like this car over here and that car over there.
And he ain't driving a cheap vehicle either. A Lexus GX 460, come on.
They all have license plates. License plates mean I'm engaged in commerce. I'm not engaged in commerce. This doesn't give them the authority to pull me over because they see that. Where do you see that I'm engaged in commerce? What gave you that suspicion that I'm engaged in commerce? You have the right to travel freely, unencumbered. And that's all in the law. And when we look at the law books, Supreme Court has already ruled on this. And you go back to what is a license. And I want people to do their own homework. Go read the case of Murdoch versus Pennsylvania, or read the case of Shuttlesworth versus the city of Birmingham, Alabama. These are showing that you don't need a license. A license is to do something that is immoral, that's sanctioned by the government, like a 007 license to kill. Okay, that's immoral.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. This is, I think, I want to make sure, I don't know why the comments are turned off for this video, but it's constitutional lawyer, it says, Rick Martin, shows you not only how to reclaim lost liberties, but offers remedy and recourse for those who have been wronged by public servants. What I'll do is I will put the constitutionallawgroup.us in the description of this video. And I'm also going to put the link to San Joaquin Valley Transparency. Hats off to him. He does a fantastic job advancing freedom in his area as well. So I'll put those links in the description in the pinned comment. What I want you to do is leave your comment under this video about what you think about this, because I love every opportunity we can get to carve out a little bit more of our freedoms, because it's not about securing the liberties that we already have. It's about taking back the liberties that have been taken from us. It's like our duty. It's our obligation to do that. Not only for us, not only for our families and our future posterity, but for all of humanity. That's how you push back tyranny. That's how the light pushes back the darkness.
Hey guys, I really appreciate you sticking around and watching the entire video, and thank you for visiting the channel. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. And don't forget to visit San Joaquin Valley Transparency and give them some love. All the links are in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next video.